Today we're going to talk about responding to wins and losses. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode. I am Chad Owen, the Annuity Sales Coach. We still have not come up with a cool name for Caleb yet. Because, I mean, look what I got to work with. How am I going to come up with a cool name for this?
Cool name is a tough one.
It is a tough one. I mean, Boy Wonder was easy, but, you know, it's kind of outlived it. We'll figure
past
it.
We're on to greener pastures.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2022 now. We're past the first month. I mean, here's the thing. We're going to talk about what to do if you had a successful January, a non-successful January, if you're just getting into the business, if you've been doing this for 15 years, we're going to cover all of it. So, I mean, because there's really, I would say December is generally my biggest month. Mm-hmm. I mean, what did I end up in this last December for the whole month?
If you look statistically.
But just for last December, what did I do?
Last December. 1.7.
Yeah, so that was not a good December.
That wasn't.
Yeah. But the previous December, I only did 888.
Correct.
And then the December in 2020, is that 2019? Yeah, 2019, I did 4.7 million in 2019, I think. Yeah, 4.745. So yeah, the last two Decembers have not been great. But I also took the last 2 weeks of December off this year.
I will say though, 5 of the last 7 years, your December was the biggest month of the year. So
this last year 2021 was very consistent. I mean, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 months over 3 million, and I had one month under 1 million.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and a couple of those were in between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And everything else was over 1.
I'm so glad I only had one under 1 million.
Yes,
and that was not good. That was 480,000. But you know what? But that was May. I was gone a lot in May.
Compared to 2020, you had 3 months under 1 million, but you had
a
$9 million month that like major.
Oh, how I would like to have another $9 million month.
Yeah,
that would be beautiful. Let's just make it February. Yeah,
but it's important. I mean, if you get into February, I mean, this point in the year, we're 1 month in, we're 1/12 of the way through, and I have no doubt that you had goals. I had no doubt that you probably broke those goals down into monthly goals. I know you don't, but like you probably either hit what you were trying to do, far surpassed it, or you didn't get it. And we want to encourage you.
Boy, that's pretty deep.
Yeah,
you either made it or you didn't make it. That's whoa. The wisdom is just oozing out right now.
You know what's funny is you can generally say kind of silly things in a particular tone of voice that make them sound profound, but like I feel like I can't get them past
if you have a British accent. You sound smarter when you have a British accent.
It's true.
It's interesting though. I talked to someone. I said British and Australian accents, New Zealand, South American, or South Africa, you kind of have it's that sounds a little smarter type accent. And they go, you know what? It's funny. We feel the same about Americans.
That's funny.
Yeah. American accent is perceived as someone who's more intelligent, smarter.
Not Southern accents though.
No, definitely not Southern. It's like
accents.
backcountry. You are, you're not smart.
Yeah. Sorry guys. We got a lot of agents that have the Southern
and they're
accents.
all laughing going, you're right. You're right.
That's funny.
Oh, I love our Southern agents.
Yeah.
They are the best.
So if you had
Northern agents are okay.
If you had a bust in January, there's kind of 3 things I want to encourage you, and I want you to hit on these 3 things or tag on to them. But number 1, assess what was the bust. Okay, if you had the goal of $1 million in the month and you didn't hit it, okay, that's the what. But then getting into the why did that happen? So now you have to actually give some thought to it.
Sorry,
really,
I was holding in.
No, it's okay.
You're
Deliberate. Deliberate as to why you didn't do what you were trying to do, and then number 3 is think about how are you going to solve that for February.
Can you say that again, because I just totally messed that up.
What,
so 1 through 3 again.
What went wrong?
Okay.
Why did it go wrong? And how is it going to get fixed?
There you go.
I mean, it's 3 things, and I know that's not super profound. Like it really honestly isn't. Like there's not a whole lot of ooh and ahs
today anyway. So you don't have that high of a bar for being profound.
Golly.
So
but those 3 things are what you need to do to get back on track.
It is true.
And quite honestly, if you had a great success, number 1, don't get complacent. Don't get lazy.
There's no such thing as a great success in our industry. I've been doing sales of some sort for 29 years. Let's say I just made 29 years of marriage. So it'd be 30 years now of being in some sort of type of sales. Mm-hmm. And we have been taught from day one, who cares what you did last month? What are you doing now?
It's a new month.
It does not matter. There's never a celebration. And anybody who's worked retail really knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they don't.
Hey, you had a blowout month it doesn't matter. What are you doing for me this month?
Yeah.
Now,
never quite enough.
No, there isn't. And honestly, it's that internal drive in me that I'm never satisfied. I'm always content.
Yeah.
Like even when I had a $500,000 month, and somebody like, well, that's a dream. For me, that's not. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, if I have a $4 million month, that's like, wow, that was a really good month. $1 million month, that's not celebration for me. If I want to do at least 25, 26, 27 million, a $2 million month is just getting me to my goal. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's not a celebratory thing for me. But I'm very content. I'm very grateful, and I'm very thankful. Yeah, you know, because I know in our business we can struggle, but in ours, it's in my personal goal for sales and helping people. It's not the number, right? It's did I find a solution to the problem? Yeah. The side effect of that is the number. So if I have a challenging month, that just means I'm still doing the same thing I did last month. I'm just trying to make sure I'm helping people. But if I have an incredible month, the next month I'm still trying to help people.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I think the biggest thing, and the 3 things again, say it again just real quick.
Yeah, so what went wrong? Why did it go wrong? And how are you going to fix it?
And most of the time, all 3 of those things have to do with what?
Process?
Nope. Your attitude.
Oh, there's 2 things you can control, your attitude and your effort.
Yeah, because, and even your attitude, yes, I mean, but your effort with the wrong attitude is bad.
It's true. And
you know, I mean, think about when you correct your kids, if they still do what you want them to do, but they have a junk attitude when they're doing that, that's still not a win for me.
Right. And vice versa, you can have a great attitude and lousy effort, and you're not getting anywhere either.
And so the attitude is how you respond to those 3 different things. If you want to sit there and pout and mope because you had a bad month, your next month is going to be bad.
It's true.
And I have learned this from appointment to appointment. I've had, and anybody who's been in this business for a while, there are some appointments you go into where you just want to scream at the top of your head because you had a dodo client, a rude client, someone who just thought they knew way more than you knew. And nowadays I just go, okay, well, I guess if you know more than I do, you don't need me here anymore. And I'll just say that I'm done. And then, I mean, almost every time I say that, and this is rare that happens, but the wife will say, sit down, we need you. Shut up. They'll tell the husband, shut up. We need this guy. But there are times where I'm like, hey, if you don't want my help, that's okay. And I do not say that sarcastically or with a bad attitude. I'm just like, hey, if you don't need my help, there's people that need my help, and I'm more than willing to help them. And so if you don't need it, it's okay. I'll just leave. Yeah. And I'm serious in that, but your attitude will change those 3 things. The response, how do I say, not necessarily the response. Yeah, the response will determine the success of pulling out of those challenging situations.
Yeah, and I think too, it's the exact same if you had a great success. I mean, what I was going to say, if you had, well, and again, I know what you feel about great success. I guess when I think about that terminology, I think about somebody that they hit their goal for the month. Like, yes, it's a new month. You've got new things you've got to do. You've got new effort you've got to put in. But if you did what you were trying to do in January, it's still what was right, why did it go right, and how are you going to make sure that happens again?
You know,
and it's attitude and effort there too.
A lot of doctor analogies, right? So you're a surgeon and you're operating on people. Okay. Do you think every time you save someone's life, you should be, I saved someone's life? No,
No,
you did your job. That's the low bar, is to save their life. That's not the high bar.
Right.
That's not the celebration that you saved your life. That was your job.
Yeah.
So your low bar is literally saving someone's life. Now, let's say you're a ER surgeon and you have someone who's coming is completely jacked up.
Yeah.
That's a celebration, because you look at that person was going to die. Yeah, they shouldn't have lived in that. But when you're doing surgery, your low bar is to save that person's life.
Right.
When you're doing emergency surgery, then that's like, oh my gosh, we have a dear friend. They were out in a UTV, and the UTV rolled on the side, and his arm got stuck outside the UTV, and it degloved him.
Yep.
So it took the skin from the elbow down to the wrist, and they had to totally clean this out. They spent 3 hours cleaning out this wound. Cool. And the surgeon said they have never had someone that had that much dirt and grime. Not only did they save his arm, it's fully functionable.
That's insane.
Now that's a celebration.
Yeah. On the flip side, I tell you? Oh, go ahead.
But what would have there been? Well, you know what? He died.
I mean,
your
that's
minimum
probably
bar there was to keep him alive.
Yeah.
The celebration was this guy has full mobility in his arm.
Right.
Are you following me there?
Oh yeah, totally.
So when you take people that are in a retirement situation that you're going, I'm sorry, you're dead.
Right.
But when you can pull someone out of a challenging situation where they have all this volatility, all these crazy variables, these things going against them, and you not only let them live, but they thrive during retirement because you eliminated the variables from the standpoint of they didn't think they could retire and now they can. There's your celebration.
I'll tell you, it's like the situation warranted an amputation to save his life. But they were able to accomplish.
Doctors still could have done that,
yeah,
and still would have been quote unquote a success.
Yeah, but they were like not willing to just skate by. I was gonna say, on the flip side, I saw this statistic, Chad. There was a surgeon, and I don't remember how long ago this was, did an amputation and accidentally, simultaneously amputated one of the fingers of the assistant, and there was a bystander in the OR that died of shock there in the OR, and then later the amputee and the assistant that both had limbs removed died of sepsis. That surgery had a 300% mortality rate.
That sucks.
That's the flip side of it, right? Of like just kind of like winging it, I guess you could say.
So you're not going to retire your kid, and your kid's kids are not going to retire either.
Yeah, it's like just like skating by and just winging it, or just throwing it all, kind of just throw it to the wall and see if it sticks type deal, and somebody else ends up getting hurt. And
I had this doctor, he was like 65, 70 years old, and he's real arrogant. He's a heart surgeon. And he goes, Chad, I've done over 300 surgeries, and I haven't lost a patient yet. I said, that's pretty amazing. He goes, yep, I get them in the OR. Once they're out of the OR, they're no longer my responsibility. It's the nurse's responsibility to keep them alive. And I said, it's kind of interesting. So you can get them out, but whether they die late or not, you still consider that a success. And he said, yeah. I said, you know what? I have a 100% success rate as well. I've never had a client have a retirement fatality, but not only when they leave my operating room, when they go anywhere for the rest of their life, they stay alive.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa. I said, it's not just my job to get you out of this appointment.
Right.
I'm with you the entire time, the rest of your life. That's why you have my cell phone number. And I put you in a product that's literally put you in a retirement bubble to where it doesn't matter what's going on around you. Your income's coming in no matter what happens to the market. So not only you will not die of the surgery, you will not die of infection, which are called stocks, bonds, and mutual funds or variable annuities. And you will not have any parasites called variable agents that are not looking out for the well benefit of their clients. Those are the parasites. And once again, I'm not knocking variable people. I'm knocking variable people that used variable products to have guaranteed income.
Yeah.
And I've said this so many times. If you're a variable person and you make sure they're protected in their income side and then you have risk, fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
More power
don't
to
ever
you.
say you can use stocks, bonds, and mutual funds to guarantee income for life, which you know you're not legally allowed to say that because of compliance, but there's a lot of variable people that will imply that.
Mm-hmm. And implication is huge.
It is.
Because it creates a belief.
It does. Well, I can't tell you how many people that when the stock market starts to fall, they go, my broker told me I should never have to worry about this. And now I'm down 50%. What do I do? You know, I'm not calling variable people parasites. I'm calling variable people that prey on someone who has an open wound, which is called an area in their retirement that is not sealed and protected, which is called guaranteed income for life. You know, now if you run as someone that makes $9,000 a month on pension, they require $4,000 a month to live off of, is it fine to risk their money? If you're a broker, that's up to the client.
Yeah.
But don't ever use variable products to guarantee income for life, to imply guaranteed income for life.
Well, and the implication on both sides of it, I mean, even for insurance people, I know a lot of times it can be easy for guys and gals doing fixed products to imply maybe an inflated rate of return, or, you know, try and imply that this product will perform at this level. And it's like, implication is real, because if I tell you flat out something, bold-faced, this is it, and you believe it, it created a belief in you. If I imply something and you believe that based on my implication, it created a belief in you.
Well, and there's
the
also,
effect is the same.
And when you have that position of authority or perceived authority, people are going to trust you. And that's why, I mean, we've talked about this so many times. You know, I own Retirement Realized Agents Academy. I own Retirement Realized Financial. If you knew the money I make off of that compared to what I make off of writing annuities, people constantly ask me, why do you even bother with the Retirement Realized Financial, Retirement Realized Agents Academy? It's my opportunity to give back. It's my opportunity to pour into the next generation. It's my opportunity to be able to help people not have to do and go through what I went through to learn this industry. And, you know, so that's where it comes into play. But I want to make sure that by this whole process and making sure we're having a good attitude, that we change the perception of the annuity agent or annuities in general. And we're not sitting there trying to base our success off of, did we get the sale or not? Once again, it goes, did we find a solution to the problem?
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to. Did I give people a peace of mind once I left? Because once again, if I tell someone, hey, I got a safe product, but they don't understand what it is, that's still going to stress them out.
Right.
So I want to make sure they understand what we're talking about, not in the detail that a surgeon, I need to know. I mean, you go into surgery, I need to know, hey, you're an expert. You can do what you do. I'm not an expert in your area. Otherwise, I try and operate myself.
Right.
You know, and the reality is I can't. That's just not a it's impossible for me to do that.
Yeah.
But I have to trust that surgeon. They need to know that when they come into my financial operating room, I am the expert in that area. And I'm not only going to close up the wound, which is the potential loss of income or outliving income or market volatility. They're not going to get any infection in the future.
Yeah.
And when you use analogies like that, and people always say there's two things, you know, that outside of the system, the process, that make me really good at what I do. I'm good at storytelling and analogies. True. Those are the two things. You
relate things well.
I do, because you know what? It doesn't matter what I know. It's how they understand it. We've all talked to those people that are so smart, by the time they're done talking, you have no clue what they just said. You knew they were smart, but you didn't understand one word they just said.
Yeah.
And that's important for us to not only use our intelligence, use our skill set, but make sure our clients know what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, it's the mindset. Go into that appointment with the mindset of a teacher. I mean, and not from a paternalistic, greater than
talk
thou
about
type.
My political viewpoints and platforms and spew my venom everywhere. You know?
Gosh. No, but truly with the heart of education. And I had two thoughts. Well, number one,
I do need to clarify. I do a lot of balancing statements. I'm not knocking teachers.
Oh, we love teachers.
I have teachers in my family. I love them to death. It's the political system right now where professors think they have to spew their viewpoint, and that's the class.
It's true.
Knowing from experience and paying for my daughters to go to college, I have seen that happen.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Not paying for daughters, but going. Yeah, it's real.
You will pay. You're married to my daughter. You will pay.
I haven't, is what I'm saying. I haven't paid for my daughters. I don't have, so anyways.
We're working on that. You got to get those grandkids.
Yeah. If you have a bust of a month,
You just did the eye roll thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
if you have a bust of a month, we're talking about attitude and effort. It's easy for your attitude to be down and your effort to go up because you feel this pressure. On the flip side, if you have a great success in a month, it's easy for your attitude to be high and your effort to decrease because you feel complacent. In either situation, it's a losing formula for the next month. So what we want to encourage you with is, regardless of if January was a bust or if it was a success, keep your attitude up and keep your effort high as well. Consider what was well or what was wrong, why was it well or why was it wrong, and then how are you going to either have that happen again or correct it for February. So that's a quick recap.
We're in an industry where mistakes are not an option.
Yeah.
You make the wrong mistake with the client's money, and it can affect them for the rest of their lives.
It's real.
So, well, I hope this helps you. Once again, we went a little long, but we're not one of those guys. You can tell I don't wear a watch, and so I do have a timer, but I rarely ever pay attention to it. So, okay, you have a great day and happy selling.